Welcome to my contribution to the workshop of the EVGA, the European VLBI Group for Geodesy and Astrometry. Today I want to talk about data unlimited. It's about the IVS Seamless Auxiliary Data Archive at the Wettzell Observatory. We'll touch 4 different points. What is the IVS Seamless Auxiliary Data Archive? How can you participate to this as an antenna site? How can correlators and analysts get data from this data archive? And where do we have the benefits, or what is the future in the summary? So what is the IVS Seamless Auxiliary Data Archive? I directly show this. In principle, it's nothing more than a database and a server storing data. And then it is combined with a nice interface so that you can directly get access to your data. So you log in onto this data access system, and then you see here in SAPIX this nice world map, and you directly see the currently now participating sites. So it's Wettzell, our Wettzell telescopes, Medicina, it's here Hobart and Warkworth. We also get some data from our site at the Antarctica. And what you now can do is you can directly, for example, jump into the data which arrive here. So you go into this list and then you see the different data sets. So for example, you see the clock offsets, you see the temperature, the pressure, the humidity, the wind speed, and the wind direction. The important thing now is that it is continuously. So it's not session based. It's not like what is done in the legacy system, so that you have a log file where all of the data are recorded to, and then you use just this 1 hour or 24-hour log file to get the data. Here it's completely the whole time, every 1 minute or every 5 minutes, you get one data point, one information which you can use. So you don't have to do extrapolations and things like that. You have a continuous data set and you can request the data continuously. So it's like this, that I, for example, select the last day, and then it automatically gives me the last day. Or if I want to zoom into dedicated time periods, then I can directly zoom into this. So it's a really nice, manageable, and really handy system. We use SAPIX for that. We use access points, easy access points to this system, and you can get different informations. So it's not only this what you get, it's also a more sophisticated system that you get all of the data from the field system. For example, if you call the field system screen and you watch this data, you get information about the modules, about the positions. So for example, if there was an observation, you can directly zoom in, you get the different elevation azimuth positions continuously and directly live. During the session, you get the system temperatures. It depends on how the system temperatures are recorded. So if they're continuously or if they're just at special scans. You get also the different informations from the meteorological side. You get the cable, you get the clock offset. You would also get additional informations about measure status and things like that. At the moment, we can collect about 211 different values from the field system, and they are continuously processed and recorded. This is the data storage of the real-time data. It contains at least 3 months of data. After 3 months, the data are exported to a data archive, and then they are available in the data archive. So this is in principle what I mean if I say the IVS Auxiliary Seamless Database. and you can access this with an account and a user account. And if you need this account, please send an email to me and I will give you access if you're a participating site. And of course, please participate. So we have much more antennas like this, and therefore it just lives and dies with participation. And how to participate and what you have to do to send data to our data system, I will explain directly now. So what do you have to do if you want to participate to this data archive and if you are a person at the observatory or at an antenna site? We have 3 different modi to participate. The first one is the basic version. You don't have to install anything at your site. You just get a key for an access to the database so that you have a ciphered and encrypted communication and that you can send in data. And then you call each time if you want to send in a special value. You call an SSH command and then you send the data directly. So you just have to add this SSH command to your existing programs and then you can send in data. Of course, you have to register first of all, so you have to send an email if you want to participate. The next level is for standard users. The standard sites use the remote control software and also web pages produced by the remote control software. And these web pages are then read by the data archive and automatically gets the information and sends the information to the different items. So that in the first level here, in the basic setup, you have just a reduced set, which is directly adapted to the IVS seamless auxiliary data archive. And here in the standard version, you have the whole stuff from the field system, but only available in these times when the field system is active. And then there is another version. The other version is the standard way for, let's say, real operation centers. Operation centers can also get additional information from the different special equipments, for example, from the racks, from the cooling system, from the heating system, from the power consumption and things like that. And here you have an additional access method using the SAPIX ways so that you can directly request data and you can directly process data which are independent from the field system. I want to show you the differences of these 3 versions, where the basic version is the preferred one for the IVS seamless auxiliary data archive. I want to show you these different possibilities in another screen. So here we have again these 3 different possibilities. So the basic side, the standard side, and the premium side. The first thing is the basic side is the one which we will use for the IVS seamless auxiliary data archive, so that you can send in data to our archive. So what you do is you send in elementary values like .mon, .mon2, which are the clock offsets, temperature, pressure, humidity, so meteorological information, additionally wind speed, if possible wind direction, and there are also possibilities in the future so that you can get continuous cable informations. You have a basic monitoring screen. This monitoring screen was seen before, where you see the different plots available, and you have this simple data injection method where you have no additional installations. You don't have to do anything. You just add additional things to do the programming. I will show later how it works. Then In the standard side, the difference is that you have this e-remote control software. This e-remote control software offers web pages, and it can currently read 112 values. In total, we have a little bit more, but 112 values from the field system. And you have the basic monitoring plus the additional field system screen. You have this automatic data injection, therefore you need a direct, let's say, tunnel between our system and your system, which is continuously open and which fetches the web pages, and the web pages are then read and parsed so that the data are injected automatically. And then you have this premium side. Premium side in principle is at the moment just Wettzell, where we do the control and we get all of the information from our systems, from the UPS, from the sensors, from the racks, from the different monitoring systems, temperature sensors, invar measurements and things like that. You have individual screens then, which are adaptable. You have a special account where you can do own preparations. Is something like an administrator account, and you have very complex data injectors using the SAPIX methods, because we use SAPIX in the background. So these are the three different things. I want to focus onto these basic parts here, and I will show what you have to do at your site to get these basic parts working. So in principle, it's quite simple. I use, for example, a simple program which reads the clock offsets. Like if I call it, I get the latest Dotman values here. And this simple program written in C can be adapted to send the data. So what I did is I added an additional while loop, which is endless. It does a little bit of timing so that I get always each minute one value which is sent, and then I use the same what I use for the reading, and I just add an additional system call without any error management, things like that. I just prepared the data which creates the SSH call, and such an SSH call looks like this. So we call normally SSH with a command. It's a little bit cryptic here, so the important thing is this part here. This is just that the, let's say, housekeeping of different hosts is not or is done easily. And then it starts here with the username, and then you need a special key file. Without this key file, you cannot access our servers, so you need a special key file. Then you access the server. You will get a special IP address to access the server, and then you do the SAPIX sending. In principle, you do an echo where you give the name of the host, so the name of your system, how it is registered in our system. You give the name of, or the key name of, the value which you want to update, in this case Dotman, and then you set the Unix time and the value which you want to send in. It can be a value like a number, it can be also a value like a text. So for example, if you change the meteorological sensor and you want to send in the name, it's also possible that you get additional items for that. And then you send this, you pipe this into a special sender which is located in our system. So you have to log in, and then you can call this system or this program, and then you just call it so that these values are sent to this server, to this port. The port is also which you get. I don't want to have it public here, so therefore I hide it. So all of the X you have to replace with the values which you get by me. And this is the only thing what you have to add. So you can add it to scripts, you can add it to Python scripts, you can add it to C programs as you saw before, and then you feed in all of this data to our system. And then the data are available. This means that you can have it in the IVS archive, or in this case we have a project Jumping Jive, so that you have more monitoring data in real time available, or you can have it really in the control center so that you can access it directly from there. If the data are then in the system, then you can get the data, and this is how to use the data as an analyst or for the correlation. And therefore you can get a Python script where you can get the seamless data continuously, and where you can directly access special time intervals and things like that. So what you do is you send an email to me to get this software, and then you install it and you use Python for that. You have a lot of arguments which you can call, and then it's quite simple. You just, if you call it without any argument, you will get this information, what is possible. And if you call it with a -L, then you will get a list of possible servers or sites. So if you do this, and if you select a special host, for example, let's select Wettzell, in this case here, then you will see all of the parameters which are offered by the Wettzell site. In total, over 200, where we have 112 or something like that for the field system. So if you want, for example, get the .mon values, then you call it with -key, and .mon is erc.mon, and then you will get the latest values from the .mon. You can also get a different order so that you have it descending or ascending. You can create files, you can select time intervals. So this is the first access point which we can create. Another mechanism is, of course, the already shown sample of access point to the sites, so that you can directly access the different data here, for example, and that you can zoom in or zoom out and get an overview what is available and what is already stored here. So therefore, you have different access methods, one where you can process your data yourself, and another which is just used for checking the different data sets. If the data are then older than let's say 3 months, then they will be shipped to a data archive, and therefore you can access this data archive on the web pages. It's stored here, and there you can select, for example, the Wettzell data. Here is just a sample because it's not activated at the moment. It will be activated if the correlators and analysts will use this data. And then you have, for each site, you have a year folder, where you have then a month folder, and then the different data available in different files per day. So for example, if you click then onto one of these files, you will get the whole data set for 1 day in this case seconds or 10-second intervals, for others in minutes or 5-minute intervals. So for example, if I go to pressure, and if I go to this, you will see that here you have 5-minute intervals. So these are the different methods to access the data and to get the data for your own processing, but also for the checking if you just want to have or if you just want to watch the data. So finally, we come to the conclusion or to the summary. In principle, it's again a call for participation. So if you have the possibilities to send in the data, please contact us, Stuart Weston or me. There are a lot of additional possibilities which I want to show you. For example, I can set special triggers here so that if something is wrong or that something is out of the limits, that you get additional information that this happened, and it would be possible to have additional information. For example, you can have a complete view onto your Mark V systems. Here you see all of the hard drives and also how the different drives are, for example, used in the storage. So how the volumes are. You can get information about the data flow on the networks of the CPU processes. So everything is stored here in real time. So this is what we use, for example, or it would also be possible that you have a look into the rack temperatures, like here. If we go into our system here of water-cooled racks in the control system, and then you see the cooling cycles and things, if there are errors or problems, if new equipment is installed. So there are a lot of possibilities. For now, for the seamless data archive, I want to go back to this standard or to this basic setup where you don't have to install things. And the important thing is that we get data. And there is now at the moment a cooperation to the Vienna guys, and they will check if there are advantages to use this data, this additional data, and to play with these continuous data sets. And there's also the requirement to get feedback about which data are really essential and which data should be used, and how long the data should be used in this or should stay in this database. So therefore, let's fill this map, and we'll see each other in the other contributions and in the workshop. Have a lot of fun, stay safe, stay healthy, and bye-bye.